Welcome, guys. This is part 2 of the Double H Q&A. To get your question answered, you head to the website halffootballhot.com. You scroll down, you put in your name, your email, and guys, ask me any question you want. You ask your question, and next Friday, your question will be answered in answer form. So let us write in with part 2 of these questions. So, from Zachary. Hi HH, just wondering, around which ranking would you put Messi and Ronaldo in your all-time best players? I know it's tough to place them in a specific ranking, so a rough figure is fine. I would say Messi is top 10. Top 10. Possibly top... No, I would say Messi is probably like top 7, top 8 of all time. Cristiano, now, for Cristiano, if we're talking strikers, I'll say Cristiano is top 2. Based on just goal scoring, I say Cristiano is top 2. Overall, Cristiano, I'd say maybe like top 50. You know, top 50, top 40 of all time. Overall, taking everything into account. So overall, for Cristiano, top 40. For Messi, top 7, top 6. Maybe even top 5. And for Cristiano, based on goal scoring, top 2. Some Zachary again. Hi, HH. Just wonder. Okay, yeah, you raised this question. Alessio. Hi, HH. Thoughts on perennial underachiever in your time, Antonio Cassano and Antonio Di Natale? I don't think Di Natale underachieved, but I think Cassano did, because if you rewind back to the 2004 Euros, when Italy obviously went out under controversial circumstances with the results with Sweden and Denmark, Cassano was touted as he was the next big thing. He was this young guy who was young, and people thought after that 04 Euros he would basically kick on and basically really become, you know, an important member of the Italian team. It never happened for him. He was a bad boy, you know, always having issues, so on and so forth. So it never really materialized. Di Natale, I felt, wasn't ever touted as to be a great. And if you think about what he did with Udinese, for how long he spent at Udinese, I think Di Natale had a pretty great career. You know, he was never seen as an amazing player, but a very good one. Did what he did for Italy, I think, scoring at the Euros or something. But his main focus was club-wise, and I think for Udinese, he was a great striker for Udinese. Danny. Hi, man. I love your vids. Keep up the good work. The question is about Cristiano Ronaldo. Wingers are meant to bring with the required speed to beat players on the flanks to make crosses or shots on goal. Since Cristiano is declining and less of everything, passes, assists, goals, take-ons, can you still call him a winger or even a great goal scorer? He was surrounded by great players who feed him. The best thing for Real Madrid. Cristiano has a big ego, good and bad, but now it's become an oppression for the club to grow. Cristiano out or Zidane in, or both out? And for me, I do believe that Cristiano is still a goal scorer. He's still a very good goal scorer. I still believe that he's going to have a big performance against PSG. And you can just never really deny his goal scoring prowess. Everything else, of course, you can. But as far as just specifically goal scoring, I will never ever bank against Cristiano, because his eye for a goal is amazing. He doesn't really need the speed to be in the right place at the right time to execute. So I suppose if it's between him and Zidane, it has to be Zidane, because I think, you know, Zidane is irreplaceable. Cristiano is irreplaceable. All right. Samara. Hello, Halfup. I would like to start by saying that you are one of my favorite YouTubers of all time, and as I binge watch you constantly through day and night, sometimes I repeat your videos. So thank you. The question is, what do you think I can do to improve my PCs and positioning? So I'm not sure what you mean by pieces, but I say maybe positioning. My positioning and my possession as I play as an attacking midfielder. Best regards, MC Potter Pro. So I just think maybe I'm just going to look at it as how can I improve as an attacking midfielder. I think you need to be extremely smart. Because as an attacking midfielder, you know, it's about understanding the spacing. You know, so you really need to be fully aware of what's happening within the game. So you know when to pass the ball, when to run with the ball. Because again, as an attacking midfielder, you are that link between midfield and attack. And there are times when it's about you. It's because really you're the guy that transitions the defense midfield into an offensive onslaught. So it's about decision making. But that decision making also comes from you being aware of where to be on the pitch. So you know that when you receive the ball in space. Or if you receive the ball with a defender backing up to you, you are quickly aware of how to give it to another man with one touch. But also you have to develop the ability of how can you, in as few touches as possible, or even with one touch, receive the ball and give the ball to a winger, give the ball to a striker, and quickly transition quickly so the opposition is on the back foot. So I think for me, the key thing for this is that you should definitely watch players like Iniesta, and I don't even say Nedved. I think people like Nedved, Iniesta, those are the kind of guys that I was out to say you should definitely look at, because I think those were some of the best attacking midfielders I can even think of. And I think basically Pablo Aimar, Nedved, look at the videos of those guys. Aimar and Nedved, they're definitely the best. So yeah, watch those ones. But just remember, just be aware, and have knowledge of what's happening, and definitely work on running with the ball and running with the ball at speed. If you can do that, you're in very good stead. From HD, dear HH, can you tell me the specific step-by-step protocol I have to go through for your humble being to accept me as your son and adopt me, as I'm ready for your wisdom to absorb me? Give me $1 billion. If you give me $1 billion, then that'll be good for me. Big Rich. Hey HH, thanks for answering my question in the last one. Do you think Muller can surpass Klopp's all-time goal-scoring record in a World Cup? Why isn't Götze in the Brick Academy? I think Götze doesn't need the Brick Academy. He already is what he is. I think he's already pretty much, gone past whatever relevance he can. So for me, putting him in the Brick Academy would definitely help him because of his injuries. I think he will. I think Muller can. I think it's possible. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. But I think that Muller has 2 World Cups in him. I think he has 2 World Cups in him. I think 2 World Cups. He has this World Cup coming up. He has potentially 3. Because I think he can play till he's 35 or 36, but he has minimum 2 World Cups in him. And I do feel like if he can get a few goals in this one, get a few goals in the next one. So I think between this one and next one, he could either come close or just about surpass Klopp's goal-scoring record. James Lombardo. Hey, I have a few questions. 1, if Higuain had scored that 1v1 against Germany in 2014, would Messi now be a horseman? I don't know. I think that Germany would have been able to come back. So I think it's tough to say. I don't think if Higuain had scored that, it would have just been Argentina winning that. 2, will you do a pre-match analysis for the Super Bowl and will you be watching it? Sorry, man, I'm not really much of an NFL guy. I'm an NBA guy, but NFL, sorry, that's not my thing. 3, do you think FC Cologne will stay up in the Bundesliga? They started their season with no wins in 16 games and only had 3 points before the halfway points in the Bundesliga season. Yet they've had 3 wins in their last 4 games and are 4 points off relegation playoffs and 7 points from safety. I think they'll make it. I think they will. Just about, so it will be close. It may go down to the wire, but I think there are a few more teams that are worse than them. So I think Cologne will just about make it. Amazingly well-supported club. 4, what is your favorite and least favorite cereal? My favorite is Kellogg's Crave and least favorite is Fruit Loops. So my favorite is either Frosted Wheat or there's this other one and I've forgotten what it's called. It's like this kind of crunchy thing with bits of strawberries in it. And my worst is cornflakes. For me, I just think cornflakes is the most boring, uninspired cereal ever created. So yeah, those ones. Max Akundov. What's up, my brother? My question for this week is about Icardi. Do you think that because he married Maxi Lopez's ex-wife, Wanda Nara, does that impact his performance at the national team due to the fact that Messi and Maxi Lopez were close friends at Barcelona? There was also a game between Inter and Sampdoria in 2014 that was called the Wanda Derby, where both Icardi and Maxi Lopez refused to shake hands. Also, the Argentine media is heavily responsible for the animosity towards Icardi. I think because Lopez and Icardi were teammates, that brings the animosity towards him. it's been argued that because of the hatred against him has been an important factor of him being not called up for the Argentina in some qualifiers, and even Diego Maradona has had Twitter beef over his marriage. I've even talked to my Argentine amigo about this. He believes that because he married Wanda, that's impacted him in the national team and his teammates, but especially Messi doesn't play to his strengths. Some guys even say that's because of his personal life they wouldn't want him on the team. Personally, off the pitch stuff should have nothing to do with football, and his marriage is nobody's business. As a Real Madrid, I hope we sign him this summer. I just wanted your opinion on the situation and if it impacts Icardi for Argentina. Thank you for putting out the best football analysis. You're the best, my brother. Thank you. Yeah, for me, reading that, and I did not know that, it makes sense now. It makes sense why he doesn't get picked for Argentina, because I think, especially when you look at Argentina and their psychology, these guys are very emotional people, and something like this would definitely influence him being picked or even liked for the Argentina national squad. And as I said, a guy's personal life has absolutely nothing to do with what's happening on the football pitch, unless he's raping, he's involved in pedophilia or some crazy crime. Him, what he does, or who he's married, or who he's with, or who is someone's ex-wife, has absolutely nothing to do with who is the best for the job. Real Madrid need Icardi because Icardi is an extremely good finisher. Argentina should start with Icardi because Icardi is Argentina's best finisher right now. And if they are still using that as a reason not to play, it is to their detriment. AJ, hey HH, if you're a national team head coach, would you implement a no social media use policy during the World Cup? Stay black. Yes, I would. I would, because I'd want my team to be fully focused. So yeah, I would 100% implement a thing of no social media, no Instagramming, no selfies, 100% for these 2 weeks. If you go to those 2 weeks, if you get to the final, you are 1000% focused on the job at hand. PQ Disney. What are your thoughts on Chelsea's current predicament? Do you think they will finish top 4? And if not, who do you think should replace Conte as manager in the summer? Finally, where do you think Hazard should go, City or Madrid? Okay, so what are your thoughts on Chelsea's current predicament? It's Marina, the director of football, she's crap. Abramovich, maybe he doesn't really have the same cash as he used to. And Conte isn't really that as good as a manager that people thought as he was. I think they will finish top 4. Who should replace Conte as manager? Have a look at Ancelotti. At least have a look. Either Ancelotti or maybe I'd say Tuchel. Bring some excitement and some entertainment in there as on if they keep Hazard. Finally, where do you think Hazard should go? City or Madrid? I think he should go to Madrid. I think Madrid need him more. City do not need him as much, and City are fine as the way they are. Kalim, hey HH, I have a few small questions. 1, do you think United should be doing better with the players they have? And if so, do you think Mourinho is a problem? I think they're doing as good as they can because their defense is horrible. Mourinho should be doing slightly better, but at the same time, I look at Smalling, Jones, Rojo, Valencia. These are not top defenders. And I think if you have those defenders, you will struggle. Which stadiums have you been to watch a game of football, and which is your favorite? So, I've been to Wembley. I've been to the Emirates. I've been to Stamford Bridge. I've been to another. I'm pretty sure I've been to another. So Stamford Bridge, the Emirates, Wembley. Yeah, I went to the stadium like in Barnet to watch Nigeria. I've been to Craven Cottage. So those are the only 5 stadiums that I've been to, and I definitely need to go to more. Favorites? To be honest, I mean, I liked Craven Cottage because it was very... I like small. I don't really like big stadiums. I actually like small stadiums because it's a lot more intimate and a lot more real. So I liked Craven Cottage. I liked Craven Cottage. Why do you hate and abuse players like Lukaku, Lovren, and Koscielny so frequently when it isn't deserved? Especially in Lukaku's case, who has scored 18 goals in all competitions this season. It's because Lukaku's because they're crap, and look at Lukaku. Can only use the eye test, and what I see crapness. And I see a guy who's a pretty bad player who does score goals occasionally, but he's not a big time player. James Lombardo, which top 6 club do you think were the winners and losers of the January transfer window? In my opinion, City, Arsenal, and Tottenham were the winners. As City improved the defense with signing Laporte, Arsenal got Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan for a reasonable fee and rid themselves of the parasite Sanchez, and Tottenham got Lucas for a good price. Liverpool, Chelsea, United are losers for me as Liverpool lost Coutinho without replacing him and wasted 75 million. That's fraud. Van Dijk. United did not address their defensive and midfield problems. And it spent millions on Sanchez when they already had Martial, Rashford, and Lingard. And Chelsea did not bring in a proper defender. I did buy someone to help Hazard in attacking midfield unless you think Ross Barkley is our player. For me, Chelsea were the biggest losers, followed by Liverpool. Chelsea, that's why I left. You didn't really get a replacement striker. Giroud for me is not a replacement striker. He just says, I don't care when anyone says he's not a replacement striker. And Liverpool as well. Yeah, you go Van Dijk. Is he really the defender that you need? Is he as good as Sako? Is he as good as a defender as Sako? And you needed a bulky midfield. They tried to bring in Keita earlier. That did not happen. So for Liverpool, I thought it was pretty bad for them. But for the winners, you picked, yep. Manfred Gunza, hey HH, do you think if Klopp had Brendan Rodgers' Liverpool team from 2014 when he first took over, they would have won the league by now? Would have had a prime Sturridge, Gerrard, an up-and-coming Sterling and Coutinho, and of course the Cannibal. In my opinion, under Klopp, that could have been one of the best teams we've ever seen in the Premier League era. Probably yes. I look at Klopp's brain and his attacking mindset, and I do believe that, yeah, he would have probably won the league if he had that team. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one. Danthman, hey HH, can you do me two favors? Firstly, your website keeps scrolling down. So, yeah, people keep saying that, it keeps scrolling down. Second, can you please add also pundits to the Break Academy? Start with those clowns on ESPN AFC who said Benzema had a good game against Valencia and Klopp is okay, but Mourinho doesn't deserve a new contract even though he won 2 trophies first season and Klopp has won nothing. So guys, please tell me, what is this thing about the website keeps scrolling down? I'll try and fix it, but I do not know what you guys are talking about with that. So it keeps scrolling down. And there are... That's a good idea. I'm going to put Michael Owen. I think Michael Owen is going to be the first pundit I'm going to put into the Break Academy. So yeah, Michael Owen is going in. Ben Joel. Hello, HH. What have been your 3 most favorite Champions League matches and Premier League matches in the last 3 years? Okay, that's a tough one. But just off the top of my head, I mean, the Arsenal-Liverpool was very good. I liked City, Liverpool, the one at Anfield. Champions League games, Monaco, Man City, both Man City, Monaco games were really, really good. I thought both of those games were really, really good. Another good game, Barcelona PSG, just for like I think overall I think that's Barcelona PSG game at the Nou Camp has to be one of the craziest games I've ever seen. So. My favorite matches from the Champions League would be Madrid's 1-1 draw with Juventus, where you even made the final. Yes, that's the one that Morata scored. Chelsea's 2-2 draw with PSG in 2015, and the miracle at the Nou Camp last year. My 3 favorite Premier League matches would be the Manchester derby in 2016, where City won 2-1 at Old Trafford, Chelsea's 3-1 win against City at the Etihad last season, and Leicester's 3-1 win against City, which propelled them to win the title. I remember that one. AJ, hey HH, what do you think of West Ham's director of football, Tony Henry, saying African players cause mayhem and we don't want to sign any more African players? Well, again, for me, it's been West Ham. West Ham have always been a racist club, and so unfortunately, it doesn't surprise me. And 100% he should be reprimanded for it. But how shocking is this really? Because I'm sure there are lots of people within West Ham who think this way. And it's a whole thing of like, even I had it towards school that every time teachers saw me with me and my other African amigos, they were still, this must be a threat, this must be a threat. So because we're joking and we're laughing and not louder than you, conservative, quieter guys, doesn't mean that we're actually causing any trouble. It just means that that's just how we flow and that's just how we act. So yeah, man, I'm not surprised about that. Udonian Gitata. My brother Double H, double fist in the air. Just side gist. Hope you're getting ready for the Mondial. It should be fun. I love the World Cup, fam. Anyway, I have some questions, bro. 1. So people say the Champions League is greater than the World Cup. Others say the World Cup is. Where do you stand on this? Should there even be a comparison? There's no comparison. The World Cup is much more important than the Champions League. Anybody that says the Champions League is much important than the World Cup, you're a fool. What is the greatest club debut you've ever seen by a player? Rooney against Fenerbahce for me. Oh boy. Yeah, probably Rooney. Or I think wasn't Messi's pretty good for Barcelona? Or Ronaldinho. I think it was either Dino, Messi, or Rooney. What footballer would you look at and say, this guy could play James Bond? Drogba. I think Drogba would be a good James Bond, personally. For the African Nations Championship is going on in Morocco at present. The final match is on Sunday. Yes, Morocco versus Nigeria at 7 GMT. Remember the Algiers 90, even Senegal 92 had some good ones. Team were made of home-based players and they were good. I think any home-based outfield player will make the Nigerian World Cup team. Hopefully. I think that's Gabriel guy, and I think even Osimhen as well. I think those are two guys who I think will make it. But I think Gabriel looks pretty good. I think he's got 2 Gs now, especially when he scored the MG in the semi-final against Sudan. So I think it's a possibility, and I definitely think there are roles there for more home-based players to come in, because I do not think everybody in our Super Eagles team should definitely be going through. And Kelechi Iheanacho, man, you've got to prove yourself, because this should be a meritocracy. Following Babalola, dear HH, which sports would you say is harder to master, to perfect, and requires more skill? MMA or boxing? Also, who do you think is going to win the World Cup? I would say, I'd possibly say MMA, based on the fact of how many different styles there are. Because to be a top MMA fighter, you've got to be good at boxing, you've got to be good at jiu-jitsu, you've got to be good at wrestling. So you've got to be, even if you're excellent in one discipline, you've got to be pretty good in several different disciplines. So that's why I think it's definitely MMA. And who's difficult to say, but I think I'm looking at Brazil, maybe Spain, or even France. Germany are not going to win the World Cup because they are too good. Browie. HH, what up, bro? Brownie again. Thanks for answering my questions last time. Keep up the work and stay motivated. Just 2 questions this week. Nigeria faced Poland, Serbia, DR Congo, England, and Czech Republic to prepare for the World Cup. What do you make of it? I feel a South American should still be there, but we know Argentina all too well at this stage. I think those are fine. We know Argentina, so we don't really need a South American flow in there, because we know what we're facing, because we always face them. Secondly, what is your take on Bruno Mars winning Album of the Year? I felt this is the year whereby a rap album should have really gotten it, because hip-hop is on top in terms of music genre. Both Damn and 444 by Jay-Z, due to his story behind it, deserves that cheddar. The Grammys, as usual, snubbed both of them, and overall they just gave it to a pop artist due to notoriety and what's hot. They need serious addressing. Take nothing away from Bruno Mars as an artist, but his beats were sampled works or replications rather than Kendrick's and Jay-Z's being more original. Enjoy the weekend, sir. Yeah, for me, I mean, I think the Grammy, you know, the funny thing about the Grammys, I was looking at the history of the Grammys. You know that not one full rap album has ever won the Grammys before. Because remember, Lauryn Hill's Miseducation in '98 was rap and singing as well. One of the greatest albums of all time. But I think, again, it's, for me, when I look at Bruno Mars, I'm like, okay, he's good. He makes good music, but it's like, okay, he's sort of, you know, there's just something about him that doesn't seem genuine. You know, I know he means well and everything, it doesn't seem genuine. For me, I felt that the best rap album should have gone to 444. The best album should have gone to Damn, because Damn isn't really a rap album. It's rap, but I think it's much more of a musical album. But just as a body of work, how good it is and how seamless it is, I think that is an excellent album. Whereas for just the genre of rap, what Jay-Z was saying, how different it was, and just how mature that album was. I think for a rap album, 444 should have gotten it. But again, this is the Grammys. It's a bunch of old white guys telling us what is the best music. And also, I think, specifically with music, music is the most subjective art form. Nobody goes to school to learn about music. It just comes from within your soul. So it's very hard for someone to say, this is better than that. So the very concept of the Grammys doesn't make sense. In my opinion, the best album I believe this year was what's his face? Forever is a Mighty Long Time. I've forgotten the name of the Big Crit. Forever is a Mighty Long Time. For me, I thought that was probably the best album of the year. But again, that's just my view, because that is because music is so subjective. So having an award show for music is stupid. Adam, I think this is the last one. Okay, so hi HH, what do you think of Tottenham's Musa and Dembele? I watched him close against Man United and thought he was man of the match. I also thought he was the most talented player on the pitch, second only to Martial. How do you rank him compared to other midfielders in the Premier League? Musa Dembele, 1000% is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. As far as a midfielder coming from deep and attacking, he may be one of the best. Because De Bruyne is much more of a number 10. When you look at what Dembele does in the minefield that is the midfield, and what he does attacking-wise, and how difficult he is to tackle, that you cannot get the ball off that boy. He is very difficult to get the ball off. So I think That is why I think 100% his control, his strength, his upper body strength, his control of the ball, how he unleashes it, and just how he understands the midfield duty, but can also offer stuff in offense, just makes him an exceptional, amazing player. Guys, this is it for the WH Q&A. Thank you very much for your questions. To get your question answered, send it into me. Head to the website, scroll down. I'll sort of the scrolling at the bottom of the page. Put in your name, your email if you want to, and ask me any question. It could be football related, sports related, or non-sports related. I'll answer it. Stay true, stay black.